Thanks, everyone. Two very tragic accidents. On the 5th of April 2008, Stuart Mangan broke his neck playing a rugby game. And on the 7th of August 2009, a young man called Robert Stringer was killed in Tanzania, the eastern coast of on Zanzibar Island. My life interleaves with these two people, strangely. I was in Liberia in 1992 and I was working with child soldiers. And it turned out that one of the kids I was working with couldn't sleep because of recurrent nightmares over what he had done. And as it happened, I had a tape of Enya and a Walkman which I gave to him, and it helped him sleep. And it was the first time I saw technology doing something a human being couldn't do, and it changed my life. In 1997, I ended up reading a book called The Diving Bell and the Butterfly. And this is a book written by Jean-Dominique Bauby, who was believed to be in a coma, but was actually in locked-in syndrome. He blinked out this book by answering yes or no to a series of letters that were presented to him. And the book is a profound insight into where we can be as human beings. After my PhD, I ended up in MIT Media Lab Europe, and I took the decision that everything I would invent or try to invent based on those previous experiences would be to be about empowering people and trying to improve people's lives. One of those projects was a brain-computer interface that had Jean-Dominique Bauby had this device, he would have been able to think out the typing of that book. So by simply thinking two different thought patterns, he could actually have typed that book rather than having the means that he had at that particular time. Another project that happened while we were there was the Liberties Computer Clubhouse, which is really just looking at bringing creativity and imagination to children that dropped out of school in the Liberties area. And the idea there was give people an imaginative exercise using ICT, and it'll take them to different places in education. This actually led me to Gatoto in Nairobi in Kenya, where I tried to duplicate the same model in a slum. And I ended up teaching ICT to teachers in Makuru in Gatoto using 15 old battered laptops. It was an incredible experience, but it made me realise that technology can do amazing things. While I was doing that, Cormac Lynch and Owen Crosby, two founders of Camara, Cormac was in Ethiopia trying to do literacy with mobile phones, and Owen was in Dell. Between the three of us, we formed Camara in 2005. 2005 was an amazing year because at that particular point we're throwing out 200,000 computers, and most of them are working. And the basic idea behind Camara is, can we get those machines, instead of putting them into a landfill site, can we get them into educational institutions in Africa and obviously train local people in ICT? I met the Mangan family in 2008 at Christmas, and with Scott Rickard and the Castle Lab in UCD, we decided we would start the SMART project. And the basic idea there was, could we as scientists and technologists do something around the area of technology and disability? I was on my way to Kenya this last year, and I visited Stuart. And one of the things about Stuart was he wanted to get involved in Camara because he saw a way of having meaning in his life. And I promised I would do a slideshow, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. On the 7th of August, Stuart died, the same day that Robert Stringer died, the guy I mentioned. Robert was a Camara volunteer, and he was in Zanzibar a week after his volunteering experience with Camara. Here's the slideshow I was going to show him. I'm going to use this slideshow just as a way of trying to explain some of the things here. When somebody dies as a result of something you do with the best intentions in the world, it challenges everything you believe in, and I really mean everything. And it was Stuart's courage and his conviction that kept him going in the dire circumstances he was in that helped me deal with the death of Robert. So I'm paying this as a tribute to them both, really. Camara is doing extraordinary things. It's reaching out to communities in very, very poor areas where there's literally very little hope and very little opportunity. It genuinely is a project that I want to keep continuing. And part of this exercise here is to let people know that it's still going. So to give you a couple of statistics around what Camara has been able to do. To date, this year we'll be sending out 80 volunteers to Africa. We're present in about 7 countries, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Zambia, Lesotho, Kenya and Uganda. Hopefully that's 7, right? 500 schools now have ICT labs as a result of the computers. About 2,000 teachers have been trained. And what essentially that means is that over 500,000 children have access to ICT education as a result of Camara. SMART is still a dream. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get a couple of people together to do something at a similar scale around technology and disability. So it hasn't happened yet. It's still very much a question mark over where it's going. Look at the blog if you want to see where we're going with this. So I just want to finish with this quote, one of my favourite quotes of all time. It really just speaks for itself. Thank you.